So, hello everyone, welcome back to Echoes Within with Dr. Nila, a platform to share your message with the world. And today we are going to dive into one of the most interesting topic which millions are affected actually today in today's scenario. See, most of the time we give so much but still feel we are not enough. Right. We feel that finding the healthy relationship is the toughest thing in the world. And we are struggling to set boundaries, emotional chaos. And here I want you to remind one thing: the relationship which we have with others is the relationship which we have with ourselves first. So when we heal ourselves, when we heal the relationship which we have with ourselves, that is where it is going to reflect not only in your personal relationships, but with in every areas of your life, with your colleague, with your boss, with your friends, with your clients. So it's going to reflect in every area of your life. So it's so important to work on your relationships. It is not only about relationships, it's about your success also. So to give us light in this, let us welcome Mrs. Ratika Goyal, a superb tarot reader, relationship coach, and a Reiki grandmaster, to give us so much light into this, who is helping women in their emotional healing, realizing the self-discovery, realizing their self-worth, and living a life with healthier relationships. So welcome, Radhika. Hi, Radhika.
Hello,
Welcome.
good evening. Namaste, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking already the exact message. So you
My
did.
favorite topic too.
Yes. So thank you so much already. And you are right. I hope with this, streaming, the correct audience get the correct message, reach them through our, like we being chosen as the medium, as the channel. So thanks to you for bringing this up. You are doing such a great work. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Radhika. So it's my privilege to host you here. And thank you again for accepting the request to give your valuable time in this podcast. So can you share a little bit about your journey as a healer, as a tarot reader, as a relationship coach, how it all started? What was a defining moment? What inspired you? Can you share your journey a little bit?
Hmm. I was not born like this. Obviously, no, we people are not born like this. The more different field we choose, which is out of the league field, the more people you find in these kind of fields, no, you see the more pain they have been through. They have risen through the most of the most pains, and I was not different. So yeah, like everything is going great. A pampered child, the eldest daughter, and things going great. Studies, I was an average good student, the apple of an eye of my family, siblings, everybody's love. Getting the job, landing dream job, doing work, but still something I'm not feeling happy actually. I wasn't feeling happy. Earning money, being independent, people around me jealous of me, but still people are jealous. They want my life, but my kind of life, but still I'm not happy. Getting married on time, well on time, in a very with a very decent boy. He's from IIT and he's doing so good. And still I am the one who is not happy. So so it's like a fairy tale life and the fairy is not happy. Why? So, yeah, the answers were never found out until some days I reached the threshold, like relationships, health, everything, shattered, career, all at one go, like a thunderbolt striking, and God has handpicked you for something else to do rather than, suffering in this rut. And yes, of course, then my pain made me come into this. The pain which was unbearable, the emotional pain, the mental pain, the pain which made me ask questions that what are you doing in on earth here? Now, what is your purpose? Job is not your purpose. Relationship is not your purpose. You are not good at anything, my dear. Then what you are good at? Why are you here? So then I met Lord Shri Krishna in divine form. One darshan, one beautiful darshan in Bengaluru ISKCON temple. It turned my destiny. It flipped my pain into purpose. So I came back home. I did not know. I started worshiping him. I started getting him ready. I started dancing to his tunes. I don't know why. And suddenly, my brain, my mind was channeled into bhakti without any knowledge. No knowledge, no wisdom, no maturity, only bhakti. Like a innocent child, no, just does bhakti to his or her parents. He became my parent. So that's all. It started from there. I surrendered a lot before even learning spirituality, religion, book reading, Gita, this, that. The first lesson I learned was surrender. That just leave it. Whatever will happen, we'll see. Because death is even not coming. Death is so stubborn. Even death is not coming. Then what is coming? There is supposed to be something. Only Krishna knows. Only the Supreme Lord knows. So let us surrender unto his feet. And it came through gradually. I got the opportunities started coming: astrology, tarot, numerology, reiki healings, pranic healings, mentors, gurus, wise people started entering my life because I started to surrender and have faith. These two things. Honestly, today also, when I do astrology readings and everything I do, the first thing I do is join my hands and ask Krishna, Krishna, please guide me. I don't know anything. The only thing which I know is I surrender to you, and I have full faith in you that whatever you do will do for my best.
Beautiful, beautiful. So most of the time people underrate the emotional pain actually. So the people, even us before the journey, before we experience the pain, we thought money, success, career, fancy things, or the life. They are the things that is going to give peace. But emotional pain is, I think, underrated, and I mean, it is getting noticed nowadays. So as you said, somewhere we all suffer, most of the women suffer of not being seen, valued, or high heard. Okay, it is going to cause such a intense emotional pain, which only the people who have experienced will know it. Right? When we say from the feeling not heard, feeling not seen, it's just a fancy word for some. Only the people who have experienced it will know the feeling. Right? So why do you think that it is happening? That why do the people are getting this feeling of I'm not enough?
Hmm. Because we already have been loved, raised by our parents who loved us no matter what, and they were our gods. And as since a child, we wanted to keep our gods happy, no matter what. So their approval, their validation, their appreciation, it mattered to us. Right. And when suddenly we stepped out in the world, when we became 18 years, 20, 25, 30, we stepped out, this all vanished. Our parents, we are not living with them now under one roof. Then the reality strike. Oh, now whom to approve? Why the teacher is not approving? Why the lover is not validating? Why the spouse is not appreciating? Why the in-laws are not happy? What should I do? So we start seeking all those things from those people unknowingly. And this is the gap. That's why we feel that, oh, they're now we start feeling, oh, there must be something wrong in me. They are not validating me. I'm not being appreciated. They are not being happy. I cannot make them happy. There is some problem in me. Right? So that's the gap. What do
So
you think?
where do you feel these beliefs have developed? Is it from childhood or to the comparison, what you or to the circumstances, or it's from previous relationships? So where is it
Hmm.
actually starting? Where do these beliefs are actually start?
You gave the answer. You gave the answer.
No,
Yes. No, you know it, right? I mean, yes, you're definitely you know it. You are amazing coach, amazing healer. So
thank you.
yes, you actually you strike the chord, right chord. The first word you said, your previous relationships, your childhood. See, it is not intentional. Even I am a mother, you are a mother. We have our, children. Unknowingly, we tell them such things that, oh my God, don't do like this. They will not like it. You don't do like this to your friends. Your teacher will scold you. She will not like it. Right? We tell so many things to our children unknowingly that they carry it as, the Bible. as the rule book. So it starts from there. And if you want to dig deeper, like some people are, some people are facing karmic issues. They say, oh my God, I have healed my childhood. Like I was there in that stage. You know me better, right? Ma'am, I have healed everything. What do you think? What could be the reason? Like why this is happening to me again and again? Then you reflected, we sat together, we brainstormed, and then you made me realize, oh Radhika, let's dig down deeper. So sometimes it is the childhood, the conditioning, the beliefs, the rule books that we have been set into. And second is the past lives. We have been living through many lives. We don't know. And that's the reason people are doing Akashic readings, past life regressions to find out, right? In which life we did what blunder, right? And third thing is the intergenerational impact, right? Our coexisting, ancestors, their, coexisting people like our aunts, uncles, siblings, all these, families, Runanubandhan is there, like interconnected karma. So, because of that, also, we might be suffering due to some karmic relationship patterns or problems or money blockages. And one more thing I would like to add here, ma'am, like you asked me in the beginning, in the second question itself, that nowadays people have started recognizing, acknowledging their emotions. Emotions are the gap interface between body and soul, right? I mean, we think, like you said, no, we think if we make our own self happy, the body, the senses, the five senses, sense gratification. Okay, I like him, I like her, I like this car, I want this bungalow, I want this many children, I want this job. If we run after all these things, we are still not happy because we are making our body happy, right? Or mind on some level, but we are not satisfying our soul. So, what lies between body and soul is the thought process, the emotions, something which is between mind and soul. So, these emotions are the gap or bridge between soul and body. If we connect this layer, no, and we walk on this path of emotions, then we will be ultimately happy, ultimate happiness. Because then we will not be just satisfying our body and mind, we will first satisfy the soul. We will walk on the soul path. So yeah, I think this is going deeper. Yeah. So I think you got that
That's a
answer.
great, great, profound. You were flowing in the next level, pro level. Actually, so it is so you beautifully answered. So, what is the mind, body, and the soul connection, and emotions are the bridge, the gap that is needs to be bridged. So it was a wonderful explanation.
Thank you.
So, what do you think that how it is going to reflect actually all these beliefs? How it is going to reflect in adulthood or in our current life? We're talking about intergenerational, past generation, past karma, childhood conditioning.
Childhood. Hmm.
Okay. So how it is going to reflect?
So yeah, like I said that it starts, we start expecting firstly, and secondly, we start blaming ourselves that some problem might be there in us. So those emotions rise, the emotions of self-sabotaging, guilt, overwhelm, self-judgment, criticism, overwhelming responses, right? The fight, flight, freeze, and fawn trauma responses. All those emotions come up. We freeze. Some people, they will say that Radhika, they will call me and say, Radhika, I say, then why didn't you give the answer? Why didn't you even defend yourself? If they were humiliating in front of other people, you could have at least spoken something politely, but at least you could have defended. They will say, what should I speak? I don't know how to speak. I mean, they are very good speakers in their office. They are performing well in their workplace, in their own family members, their mother, their father. But when it comes to in-laws or, some other people who are not vibing with them, they are not able to open their mouth. They freeze. They stuck. They freeze. This is because those emotions are coming out, which they never expected. So they were not being there since childhood. Like I said, they were approved, they were appreciated, they were loved. Okay, but that became the conditioning. Okay, this is the definition of love. You have been loved for 25, 30 years like that. But now it is not being received. So they have started doubting themselves. So they freeze that time. They are not able to speak up for themselves. Because whenever they stood for themselves in the childhood, whenever they tried to tell their mother that, Mama, I don't want to go to this party. This is not meant for me. Mother said, you keep quiet. Do as what I say. I'm your mother. So the same thing now the mother-in-law will say after marriage. They will not be able to do anything. Pretty much relatable, I guess, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I can relate. I can relate. That's why I'm laughing. Yeah.
So this is what happens.
Yeah, as I was laughing, one question is running. See, many people they seek love, they want love,
Hmm.
but still they're not ready somewhere. Okay, so what is blocking them?
Yeah, this is blocking them. Like, why have you just lost yourself in just thinking that somebody outside will love me the way my parents love me? You are not living just one life, you are living many lives in one life. Earlier, you were just a daughter. You shared a daughter parent relationship or sibling relationship. Now you are sharing a husband wife relationship or a lover lover relationship or a in-law and daughter-in-law relationship or a worker employee boss and employee relationship or colleague colleague relationship, etc., etc. Why do you expect the same dynamics will work which work with your parent parent relationship, parent child relationship in your boss and employee relationship? So it's a chemical locha, we call it's a chemical compound which will, one side CO2 will be produced, one side SO2 will be produced, one side H2O will be produced. Different form, different people, different chemicals, different formula, and different compound will be resulted.
Okay.
So what you were asking exactly, like,
What is blocking them in
yes. So
making the
why,
healthy relationships?
so why did you leave yourself? Why did you think that I have to seek love from outside? Generate the dynamics of that particular relationship. What are your needs in a relationship with your spouse, with your in-laws, or with your boss, or with your colleagues? Generate that need and do not expect the other person to fulfill your need. First fulfill your own need. Stand for yourself. So don't abandon yourself. So basically self abandonment is, I believe that because it happened with me, I know myself that what blocked me was self abandonment. For the sake of others, for loving them, satisfying their needs, I forgot my needs. For bringing family together, I forgot, I broken down into pieces just to bring them together. Right? And I think self abandonment should not be there. Don't lose your identity, my dear. Don't lose your identity.
One message I want to keep repeatedly telling to everyone is this: you what you have beautifully told now, that do not abandon yourself. Always stand up for yourself. When you are not going to stand up for yourself, do not expect anyone to stand up for yourself. So this is what I want to keep repeatedly telling. So do not abandon yourself, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
So telling this, what do you think the three mistakes people are doing in building their healthy relationships?
My favorite. I want to tell 10 mistakes, but this we don't have enough time. I believe I was the one person on earth who has done every mistake in relationship, every possible mistake. I was the one who did not learn through books. I told you, right? I did not learn from Gita. I did not learn from gurus, mentors, no self-help books, no pravachans, no YouTube, no, mentors, nothing. I learned only from my mistakes. So there are,
They're going to be powerful lessons then.
so the first and foremost mistake. I want my spouse or in-laws or the other person to try to fix them. To fix them. You want to say something, I guess.
No, just I'm counting.
I mean, now we laugh at these mistakes, right? Because
Yes,
somewhere we have
I
done
know.
them.
That is why I'm laughing. I know that point also.
Yes, because we have now overcome them. And whenever, it now helps actually when somebody comes, no, for talking as a client, as a collaboration, as a person, colleague, or somebody, when we are talking in random social life also now. First thing which I say is, okay, this person is operating from some different level of emotions. God bless them. God take care of their emotions. My job is to not fix them, first of all. If I'm not vibing with the person, if I'm not resonating with the person, I will not judge them. I will not try to fix them, and I will not change my identity for them. If that person wants me to play badminton on Sunday afternoon 4 p.m., which is the time I'm spending with my family, I'm sorry. Boundaries. Let it be
Great.
mutual. I will not play at 4 p.m. Okay, Sunday is fine because you are also free on Sunday, but let's change the time. So, boundaries, mutual.
Great.
I won't leave myself. So, don't try to fix the other person. Second mistake, which I feel is don't try to please the other person. Overgiving. Oh my God. I don't know if my mother is listening this, but she will like beat me up for this. Why did you take my name? I'm going to take her name. Sorry, mama, but you are my setting example because if I have not seen my mother doing this, I would have done the same thing in my marriage, in my, like life. She is a dedicated child, dedicated wife, dedicated mother, dedicated sibling. She is the epitome of a giver. She is a bank where she gives loans and doesn't receive anything in return. So she became an empty
It's
bank.
free loads.
Yeah.
Great. Interesting to hear.
Forget interest. She will not even recover.
No interest benefit only for the people who are getting, not for the people who is giving. Totally understood. Yeah.
So don't overgive, no matter what. See, we fear that if we don't overgive, no, the other person will not love us mutually. It will not be reciprocated. In order to receive love, I have to give love. Yeah, it is the law of universe. Give and receiving, giving and receiving. Law of karma also. Whatever you give, come back to you manifold. And because of this karma law, which we have been told since the childhood school days, that give, it will come back to you, like Newton's law. We have only existed on this law. We did not understand other laws also. Just this one law became over our head, took the place on our heads. So don't overgive. Set limits.
Just
Anything which is,
talking about boundaries, setting limits, everything. So
yes,
here I would like to ask that how to balance this, like how to balance the love, self-respect, emotional freedom without feeling guilty. Actually, see, we think that one is there, one is not there. If it is there, this should not be. We confuse things so much that we feel guilty to have everything.
that
So
is
how to
what we are
balance?
that is what we are discussing. We should not devalue ourselves. We should not sabotage our own existence, our own identity, what we are doing, our actions. So, like you are basically asking then how to set those limits, how to not commit those mistakes in money or relationships, right? Without abandoning
Yes, yes,
yourself, right?
yes.
Yes. So what I started was, I believe that listening to your emotions, listen to them. Your body, your emotions, your mind may trick you that please overgive them. They are he's your spouse, please, please. But your body, if your body is, it will signal you. Your heart will listen, your voice will signal you, inner voice. Your heart and your body will signal you that no, not today. You need a break, my
Yes.
dear. You have a class, you have a meeting, you have to prepare for tomorrow, whatever it is. You don't feel safe. It can be your own parents, not just spouse. You don't want to go and meet them for a certain time? Say no. But don't feel guilty because trust your inner voice. So, intuition plays a very important role here. Your gut instincts play a role.
Okay, so we're talking about intuition, right? So, but many people confuse this intuition with fear. So, how to identify that it is your intuition guiding you, particularly to take a decision in relationship or whatever? What is that intuition and fear?
I already answered this because
But
when
I
it,
want to, I mean, I'm not,
yes, I will streamline it.
yes.
But I will get extra marks, huh?
Yeah, yeah, no bonus.
Yes, thank you. See, I told you, like, when the body will signal something, okay, and the inner voice will signal something, that combination will signal you something, it is intuition. When your mind will try to brainstorm it, question it, doubt it, no, 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 he's your spouse, don't be rude to him, don't reply to him, be quiet, don't create drama in the house, don't create scene, he will feel bad, he doesn't like it, don't disrespect his parents by opening your mouth in front of them, let him deal with it. Even if he beats you, even if he abuses you verbally, let it be. That is the mind, that is not intuition. Intuition
Correct.
is, the event is happening, the situation is happening, your husband is saying, say sorry to my sister, say sorry to my mother right away. And your intuition, your body that time trembled, it shaked while saying sorry. You got into freeze mode. And your throat, your voice is not coming out. You are from inside, your voice is saying, why should I say sorry for the thing which I haven't even committed? That is intuition. So something which comes out of fear, obligation, mind is playing games, second thought, that is not intuition, that is fear. And something which is flowing naturally, it will flow naturally while you sleeping, while you are listening to some YouTube thing or something, it will flow instantly. That's why it's called gut. It lies somewhere between gut and brain axis. It is not just brain, it is gut plus brain.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, so thank you for this excellent clarity. I mean, you made it so simple to understand. So I liked it.
Yes.
So, and how do you think that, coming to your expertise now? Okay, we are talking more about the problem. Now let us shift our focus to the solutions. So, coming to your expertise, what you have shared, I think you have been certified in life coaching and so many things. But how do you think this tarot and Reiki? Because people somehow understand this, what is life coaching, everything. But how do this tarot reading and Reiki healing they contribute in building the healthier relationships?
Yes. For me, tarot came, astrology and tarot only came first.
Okay.
So the first thing which happened in my life, which why I was not aware of, which was like I told only bhakti was there, surrender and faith was there, knowledge was not there. That what is happening to me, why it is happening to me, why I am living, why I have been given birth. That answer I got from tarot. I did not ask directly from the cards, okay, tell me why I have been given birth. No. It's like a lot of, you have to indulge inside your soul. You have to look inside. You have to gradually, dig down with the cards. Gradually, the layers will fold out. So, tarot, astrology, these are the tools that will not just tell you future. Come on, please, don't talk to me about future, please. Talk to me about present and the past. Because I am the one who is going to build my future. So, tarot will help you for awareness, getting the knowledge and awareness about your past karma, which you did, and the karma which you can create now to create a new destiny for yourself.
It's like some getting a clarity,
Clarity,
direction, or a
confusion to,
path.
yeah, chaos to clarity, confusion to clarity. Why this is happening? Even Akashic records, like we look into the past lives, right? Even that hypnosis and hypnotherapy we do. Why did this happen? We activate our subconscious. Something is lying there, something impacted there some 20 years back, some accident happened. Went into a road accident, I had a road accident. I was I don't know, very little child. But I was thinking it has nothing to do with my adult life now. But I was actually scared to go out and live in Delhi, out of my home. I had to stay in Delhi for my education, and I was so scared. Why I was so scared to live alone? Not because I'm a family girl with parents I have raised up. Every child is afraid who wants to live. No, many people are living, they want to leave their parents and they want to live alone. But for me, the biggest reason I realized that time I did not do tarot, it was my intuition which guided me. Tarot works on intuition. You read 100 meanings of a card, you will not be able to deliver the reading. But you work with your intuition, you are a tarot reader. Right now, I can do tarot reading without tarot cards. So, intuition is a biggest gift. So, with my intuition those days, it told me, Radhika, you met with an accident when you were crossing the road. a two-way road. And this is the reason I got scared in Delhi. Whenever I was, going outside my hostel, there was a big road there, big main road, the GTR road. And I was like, oh my God, something happens listening to those honks of the cars, and metro is going, metro rail, and it used to turn me like into freeze. I used to get freeze. That was my intuition that guided me. Okay, Radhika, get rid of this fear. So tarot and this works. And Reiki is next level. Reiki, after you are aware that, okay, I have this trauma, this family problem, intergenerational problem, my parents suffered from this money block. In our family, no, there is a big block that, okay, it's they themselves are doing business. Everybody is into business. But to their children, they will say, do service, do job. And ultimately, every child is ending up in business only. So why this is running in our family? Because they have the fear. The elders, they are transferring their fears to their children. That service gives a fixed income. You don't have to work so hard for the business. Business, some days are high, some days are low. There is no fixed income. So they want a secure and stable thing for their children. So they are just they are not giving us option only to even try for business. Go for government job, go for service, go for this thing, that thing. So Reiki, what will do? Reiki will identify these kind of blockages. Yes, karmic blockages also, family blockages, mental blockages, your own thoughts. Reiki will gradually try to align you. All those blockages, your heart opens. Reiki expands your heart like anything. All chakras even. Third eye, brain, it will expand you like anything. Cleans. Everything is just cleansed. So this is why I love tarot and Reiki. Both combination together.
So Reiki is for expansion. So what to say? Reiki is my so my favorite. My place starts with no day goes without Reiki. So such a close thing to me. And we are going into different topic, deeper topics. So let us get back to track. So give us some practical tips. Okay, which were not deeper things. Practical tips for our audience, for them to follow so that they can have healthier relationships.
Yes. So communication, right? Number one, instead of assuming things, instead of feeling things, taking things personally, try to communicate, right? Second thing I would say is don't forget your self-respect. And not every relationship will be same as yours and your parents' relationship, your childhood relationships. Understand? So don't forget your self-respect. Don't operate from that childhood, same patterns. Change it. Identify the dynamic of the new relationship which you are into now. Use your brain. Be practical. Deal with it in a different way. Okay. And third thing, do not expect from people. These things everybody know nowadays. But still, being a human, no, we end up expecting. But if you are expecting from the other person, make sure you are giving them, not over giving. It has to be equal. So third is equal give and take. So give and take has to be equal. If there is Shiva, there has to be Shakti. If there is Shakti, there has to be Shiva. Only Shakti, no Shiva. Only Shiva, no Shakti is like a disbalance.
That's the case.
Yeah. So giving and receiving has to be equal. There has to be partnership. Basically, it's called partnership. So build partnership. Don't try to control the other person and don't be controlled by them. Even a child knows, even a parent hits a child, no? The child knows that this is not right. I did not like it. You are just an adult. If you cannot speak up, you can do something about it.
True. Beautiful tips. Actually, it's a deeper one, not just a practical tips. Thank you so much, Radhika, for that. And to be little more understanding to our audience, the detailing the practical tips. Can you share any transformation story, the practical transformation story which you have witnessed, so that it will be very relatable to our audience?
Yes, the mistakes which I mentioned, I told you I was committing those mistakes unknowingly. We all do some or the other mistakes. I was doing it post my marriage. Things were great, but gradually, as I uncovered different levels of my own self, my own emotions, why I'm being angry. I'm not an angry girl. Why, like, I'm not a homebreaker. I'm not an angry girl. I'm not a reactive person. What has happened to me? So self-sabotaging set in, guilt set in, shame set in. I was never shameful since my childhood. I was only a guilty person. But shame also set in now. Why are these emotions coming up? So, talking to my husband was not a possible solution for me. I understood. Communication did not work. Now, I mentioned the solutions, right? First was communication, which did not work in my case. Second was self respect, which was again not working in my case because I don't know what to do, whom to approach. Everybody was blaming me only, being a woman, that it's your job to, build your family, build your relationship. Men are like that. Men are safe, everybody say they are men, they will do anything. Just you see what you have to do. You cannot even, you cannot even talk to your husband, you cannot even know. Third thing was partnership, give and take. Now here what I did was, I started from here. The third solution, it worked for me. So I started, whatever I used to give, I hold it back a little bit. It was very tough for me. Again guilt set in, that no, I'm not like this kind of person. I'm very loving person, my parents are proud of me. And what will they say? That you have given these sanskars to your beti, to your daughter. This is what your parents have taught you. But despite of hearing all these things, you still are adamant that no, giving is equal to receiving. That thing was clear in my head. I will not overgive, and I will not people please also. These two things. So I stopped people pleasing. Whoever feels bad, I was the one who was, under the rash anger of my husband. Like, it was a huge fight, not just once but multiple times. We had a lot of fights, but ultimately he's the one, finally, after a lot of struggle, my give and take balance, he understood. And that happened with Reiki. Actually, I did a lot of relationship Reiki, balance Reiki, on myself and my husband also. Reiki, you cannot just tell the other person and you can still do on them. Right.
Great.
So
Yeah,
even
continue.
today, like arguments are there in every house, right? Even we have love marriage or whatever kind of marriage. But at least I'm grateful that you should be grateful if your husband is still listening to you and he's appreciating your give and take limits. He has he has been accustomed to your boundary which you started setting after 5 years of marriage. So if he has now understood that, okay, Radhika will do only this much, that is the biggest win in a marriage. And like you asked me about my programs, yes, I'm not the person who did, I was the person who did all these things alone at different steps without any guidance. But I am the one now who has created all this under one umbrella, going step by step with people, because transformation cannot happen in 1 month, in a 2-day course or 5-day course or 5 week or 6 weeks. It is just the beginning. It's like a starter. We give ignition to you. So my ignition program is a worth activation program. Just 2 days. I will ignite the fire of your self-esteem, self-worth. My dear, where you got these beliefs? From where is it coming? Like we discussed in the half an hour back. And then the next level is my Shakti activation program. That Shakti, let it meet Shiva. Everybody is dying to meet Shiva, the supreme consciousness. Everybody wants to be here. But to meet Shiva, whom you are meeting Shiva with? Who is meeting Shiva? You are not rising, awakening your Shakti. Shakti lies at the root chakra, the Mooladhara, the root, the source, our existence. So, Shakti has to be awakened. I will awaken that power. Shakti in English is called power. That power is within you, my dear. Even if your relationship is on the rocks, come on, make it and drink it. And now just, let it happen. Let it flow. Find your power. Those things we do. So, redefining your life, manifesting the life you want, releasing those limiting beliefs, setting the boundaries, communication, decision making, time management, all these things.
Great. So, Radhika, can we have your link shared in our descriptions so that people can connect with you if they are resonating with you with this beautiful programs? What you shared was a beautiful journey they are going to have. So, we'll be giving your link in the description so that people can connect with you if they are resonating with you.
Definitely,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank you for this privilege. And let us reach to more and more people, you, me, healers like us. Let nobody stop us. Let's be unstoppable because there are souls who are choosing to rise now into their own power. So let's help them out. Come on.
And let the world be filled with love.
Yes.
So, if there is going to be one key takeaway for our audience, what would it be? Who's going through this, all the self-worth issues, not being valued, heard? We know the pain, right? So, what is one key takeaway for them for now?
So every night before you switch off, just remember or say this thing out loud to yourself. Take your name and say, I love you, Radhika, and I'm with you no matter what. So you will say, I love you, Nila, and I am with you no matter what. Even if nobody is with you, I am with you. We don't know who is this I. It can be our inner child, it can be Lord, Supreme Lord, it can be your Ishtadev or Devi, it can be just anybody. But there is someone with you. So I just feel that this is the takeaway, that just say, I love you. Say, I love you to myself and feel it.
Superb, great
Yeah.
takeaway. Yeah, Sutta, loved it so much. The takeaway itself
So,
enough
Nila ma'am,
for the
before,
whole transformation and for whole journey. This one word, which if you are going to imbibe, everything is
yes, Nila
sorted out.
ma'am, I want to say to you right now, I love you, Nila ma'am. And
Thank you so
honestly,
much,
I
dear
love
love.
you.
Yeah. Right.
I know you are not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I love you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear love. You too. Love you so much. Yeah. So thank you, Radhika, for taking all your time, putting all your efforts, and fully actually pouring your soul out so that it would help someone who is undergoing this pain. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge here in this podcast. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So on this note, I remind you all, whoever is watching this live or this recordings, that your worth is not earned by sacrifice or pleasing others or by getting validation from others. You are already enough. It is the healing, actually, what Radhya has shared is healing is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming who you are, who has been buried under so many years of conditioning. It could be your past karma, it could be from your ancestors, or it could be from your parents or your childhood. Due to the fear, doubt, you have been conditioned, and the original true self of you is buried underneath. So, and healing is going to be a journey. You need not undergo the entire journey now. The awareness, what we have got today is the first step of healing. And you can go step by step, one step at a time. It's like one honest conversation with yourself, one healthy boundary, and one act of self compassion. This is going to help you in a kickstart of your healing journey, which we believe going to make you unstoppable in your career, in your focus, in your relationships, and bring the light into this world. So, wishing you all every success. And if you feel this would help someone, your friend, your colleagues, or your, in whatever relationships you have, just share this with those so that they would get the help from Radhika. And I'll be sharing the description of her programs or whatever she shares so that you can connect with her. So thank you all for having patience, having the opportunity to listen this podcast, and see you all in the next podcast with an interesting topic and with one more interesting speaker. Thank you all. Till then, protect your heart, honor yourself, and just tell, I love myself and I'm there with you no matter what. The key takeaway, which the beautiful key takeaway, which Radhika has given us today. Thank you all.